There were the scenes from Pennsylvania and Woodstock, Illinois, throwing the big party today, although Woodstock Willie says an early spring. He did not see his shadow earlier on this morning, so a little bit of conflict there with the two rodents here across the country. But what we do know here as we head into February is that meteorological winter ends at the end of this month on February 28th, so start the calendars. Meteorological spring is soon on the way, but the actual spring equinox doesn't happen until March 20th, so we're still getting a little bit closer, about a month and a half now. Now, as we look at the February outlook, though, for the rest of the month, it looks like temperatures will kind of balance out right on average. We've had a pretty warm start, so we're looking at some cooler conditions later on. However, we are looking at a more active pattern to set up for the rest of the month, and with those cooler temperatures, that may mean that we start to get a little more snow. So Woodstock Willie may be quaking in his boots a little bit. So as we wake up tomorrow morning, though, feeling a whole lot more like spring, may have some fog out there, nothing too particularly dense, but we do have those temperatures in the upper 30s in the morning. They'll warm up well into the 40s. In fact, some spots near and south of I-88 could even get into the 50s in the afternoon. So feeling a whole lot more like spring despite all that cloud cover, but just make sure to enjoy it because a cold front is sweeping through later in the day tomorrow. So that's going to send those temperatures from the upper 40s down to the low 30s as we head into Tuesday. So about a 15-degree drop here between tomorrow and Tuesday. And we're going to be staying here in those chillier ranges here over the next several days, really for the foreseeable future, because as you see here on Future Track that the temperatures here, we're seeing that the big temperature gradient there, that's where we see that favorable storm track. That gets pushed farther off to the south as we get into that colder air, but it still stays just close enough that any storm systems that do develop, like what we're expecting in the middle of the week, that stays just close enough that we get into that precipitation. And since we're on the cooler side, we're looking at some icy conditions. Could see snow and freezing rain. This model that I'm showing here has been a pretty good consensus of what the recent model runs have been showing, which is that potential for some icy travel conditions to develop Wednesday afternoon through Wednesday night before we start to dry things out into Thursday. So really we're watching out for that concern for some icy conditions to develop on Wednesday. So make sure to stay tuned to the forecast for the middle of the week as we can get some higher resolution model runs over the next couple of days. So watch out for that in the middle of the week. Otherwise, a whole lot of chilly weather. Your most accurate 10-day forecast. Next weekend may see another round of snow, so that active pattern for February looks like it's well underway, Sam.